Hello everybody, John here, and today on To The Garage I'm giving the bodywork on my XK8 Purdy a little bit of love and doing some clay barring. If this is something you've never done before, it's nothing to be scared of. I'm not a detailer, I'm not a car bodywork and paintwork specialist. I'm an enthusiastic amateur, but I've used clay bars quite a few times and I'll just share with you what I know about them and recommend you give it a go, basically. So what is a clay bar? It's literally a bar of clay. Think of a bar of soap, but malleable. What's it for? What's it do? Unlike other products or treatments you may have used at home as a casual car carer, which might include things like T-cut and polish and cutting compounds, you're using those to rub a surface and abrade away imperfections. So high spots you're going to try and knock off and grind down. That makes it sound very extreme, but that's, you know, essentially what they're doing. What is a clay bar? A clay bar is again helping to get a nicer base finish for you to do wax and things on top of, but rather than abrading, think of it as ripping, which again makes it sound really nasty. A clay bar will stick to anything that is on the surface of your paint or in the surface of your paint, but is not 100% attached, and pull it out. The surface of a car's paint looks incredibly glossy and smooth, but the reality is it's full of little holes and dimples and troughs, and it's quite a mountain range once you get up close. And in the gaps and pores and holes and crevasses in your paint, there is usually held quite a lot of debris. And this debris, if you're not careful, you can polish it and you wipe off the tops of the mountains, but you never really get down into the base of the mountains, into the valleys, and take out the dirt and debris. And some of this debris comes in a form of fallout, iron from the atmosphere, and soot, bits and pieces like that, and over time can start to damage your paint. So clay bar takes those things out. Because you're rubbing the paint, you may, and again this is going to sound extreme, you may mar or slightly haze the finish on your car if it's really good. If your clear coat is crystal clear, then you may create a little bit of hazing, which means you're going to have to polish it. So just a word of caution, vast majority of people won't even notice that it's got that slight marring on it. Clay comes in all sorts of varieties. I'm using this one. It's Belt Hamber's clay, and it's called Autoclay. That's not because I'm sponsored. I bought and paid for this. Nothing on the channel has been sponsored in that way. I'm not advertising it. It's just what I use. Why do I use this one? You get a lot for your money. So you get a big block of clay. I like the brand. They're sort of no-nonsense British scientific brand. You can actually ring them and ask clever questions and they'll answer. And also, a lot of clays need a special lubricant to use with them. the lubricant for the Belt Hamber Autoclay is water. So for me, it's a no-brainer. This is the stuff to use. But do your own investigation. It's fun. Let's have a little look at it. I've got some clay here that I've used. There we go. This is a chunk I've been using, and I've used that on one car previously, and that is more than enough to do a lot of car. I've got all that left, and you can just slice off a chunk with a sharp knife, and when you take it out of the box, what you're going to find is it's actually rather stiff. Depends on the weather, but if I pull this, oh, it breaks, and you can knead it, and it's a bit like plasticine but much stiffer. But as you knead it and get a little bit of warmth into it, a little bit of movement into it, it softens up considerably. I can't stress enough how important it is that you have very clean hands when you do this, because the first thing the clay is going to do is going to rip all the debris out of your skin and collect it in the clay, and you're contaminating it. But it can hold an awful lot of contamination. So you kind of knead this thing until you get a nice consistency and what appears to be a very clean surface. That's kind of the colour. This is not heavily used. It is a piece I have been using, but it's not heavily used. That's what it'll look like when it's new. Sort of a grey colour. Nice and clean. Now, if you run your fingers over the bodywork on your car, and the car has been just cleaned, washed just before we made this video, so it is clean in the conventional sense of the word. But if you're very careful and you pull the fingers of your hand gently across a surface, you will probably be able to feel tiny spikes, depending on how sensitive your fingers are. And those tiny spikes are debris in and on the paint. And this is going to take them out. And what we do is we get ourselves an old spray bottle, fill it up with some water. I've used 0 ppm water or deionized water just because I've got it, i.e. Very, very pure water. But clean water is all you need. Wet the surface of your car, put the Claybar on, and just gently rub it backwards and forwards. I'm applying almost no pressure, just the weight of my hand basically, and it should slide across the bodywork quite easily. If it sticks, then it's too dry. Keep wetting the surface, make sure it doesn't dry out. And the joy of this, why it's actually quite therapeutic and good fun, is I've done that bit now, and as I slide this backwards and forwards, it's quite quiet. If I just go a little bit lower where I haven't worked, it will change the sound and it will get slightly noisier. So I'm going to take my microphone, I don't know if this will work, I'm just going to stick it there. So that here, I've done that bit. Ooh, heard a little catch there. So we've done that bit. And then I'm going to go a little lower on the body. So still on the clean bit. Now down. Hear it? Clean. And the sound is the clay picking the bits and pieces out of the paint. Now this is something that can smack of snake oil, so to speak. You know, is it actually doing anything? So I've got a very clean piece of clay. Put my microphone back on. And I've got a very clean car. And anybody who's watched any of my videos will know I do look after my cars. So there's nothing particularly wrong with my car. I'm just going to do a little bit of this wing. I won't fold this for a little while. And I'm going to show you what I collect. Now, let's see. I'm not sure how well the camera is going to focus on this. But what we've got here is little dots of debris and a brownish black stain all the way across that clay bar. I know it's not exactly good video work, but again, this is just to prove a point. I'm going to take a photograph with my camera, which I know I can get in nice and close with. And I'll put that on screen now so that you can see the close-up. Then what we'll do is we fold the clay over, and again, and stretch, and again, and knead it until we get back to a nice clean surface. There's my nice clean surface. Again, I'll take a close-up for you. And then, just to take a different bit without moving the camera too much, let's just do this bit. So, same piece of clay. It's starting to stick already. And there is the self-same bit of clay. So these stripes of dirt and debris on it. And again, just going to try and take that same close-up. And I'll put that on screen. And that's clay barring. And you continue kneading and working the clay. And as long as you keep revealing nice, clean, pale surfaces, your clay bar is good. And if you start to get to the point where you feel, actually, I'm kneading this, but it still comes out grim, then move on, get a new bit of clay. And that's why I like the nice cube you get with Belt Hamber, because you can cut it into chunks. And I can do a whole car with a chunk, and a new car on a new chunk, and it's just the right size. And obviously I've got a lot of work to do there, but it's not difficult. It's not actually that time consuming, if I'm honest. I'm sure experts will correct me and say it takes forever to do right. That's fine. I'm just doing it for interest and fun. But if you dry off the surface a little and then do the same thing, nice clean fingers, the transformation is incredible. You really can't feel anything. Whereas previously you can feel spikes. And once you've done a little bit of the bodywork, you can't help but go and touch everywhere else and realise how effective this is. And if you polish and wax on top of a clay-barred surface, then you get a much deeper, longer lasting finish. And all those holes and pores you've exposed, they can be filled with wax and polish and, you know, good stuff rather than debris. So that's clay barring. No expert. If you like the look of this sort of thing, I recommend you look at some other videos. But that's John's quick and easy how to clay bar your car. I tend to go in straight lines just because I think, you know, I want to work over the whole body. I just think it's easier to tell where you've been when you're going in straight lines. But again, take advice elsewhere. See you soon. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.